Hi, Alon, the international cruiser here, and today I want to address a question that came up following recent posts. Some people have expressed concerns about booking through an agent as opposed to booking directly on the company's website, especially since I gave examples of cruises that can be booked through an agent at a lower cost than the same cruise on the official cruise line website. Is it really possible that the agent will still work and invest their time and also save us money on the booking? What's the agent's incentive? How is that possible? So yes, a good agent can save you money, a lot of money, on your next cruise booking. It's true that it's not always the case, but it is definitely possible, and that's in addition to the many other advantages of booking through an agent. How is this possible? To understand this, you need to understand how the cruise industry works. And I'll share everything with you right after the intro. So first of all, you need to understand where agents are supposed to make their profit. The agent's profit should come from the cruise company itself. The price of the cruise for the customer shouldn't be different whether you book through the website or through an agent. Of course, this works both ways, so you shouldn't be paying more for the cruise. Yes, there are agents who add a booking fee or an agent's fee, but they do this on their own initiative. And it's not that it's forbidden, but it's not looked upon favorably, at least not in my eyes. Additionally, there are agents who sell above the official website price without telling you, which is essentially the same thing. But practically, that means a higher price. Some of them rely on the fact that you won't check the price on the website, and I've already seen cases where the price was hundreds of dollars more per room. That's exactly why it's important to check and compare the offer you received to the official price. If the offer is similar or identical, it's recommended to book through an agent. If the offer is more expensive, you can decide for yourself if the difference is worth it to you. If it's a difference of $10, $20 or $50 per room, it's not a big deal, but when it's more than that, it might already be better to book directly and not through an agent. But how is it that I say booking through an agent can sometimes be cheaper than booking on the website? After all, the agent isn't losing money or subsidizing you, so here too, once you understand how things work when booking through a cruise agent, you'll see how it's possible. But before I explain this to you, as well as how to make sure you don't end up with a dishonest agent or avoid being scammed, I'd appreciate 3 small clicks if you're interested in this topic, and you must be. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be watching up to this point. I'd be grateful if you could like the video. It helps it reach a wider audience. Also, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you won't miss any videos. Did you do it? Thank you. Let's continue. So how do things work? How can an agent sell you the cruise at a lower price than the official company website? It's very simple. You probably know that the earlier you book, the lower the price. But the problem with early booking is the commitment in the case of an NRD reservation, which is a booking with a non-refundable deposit. That's the style of most bookings. Agents can open groups. When an agent opens an OOE group, they receive a block of rooms without commitment and without having to provide names. But by opening a group, the agent essentially locks in the price. So many agents open groups as soon as the cruise becomes available, and they can do this for any date, any sailing, and any ship. And because they are not required to pay, or in some cases pay a small deposit, which is also refunded if they cancel, they can, in practice, lock in the price at the initial publication, and as you know, the price usually goes up as the cruise fills up. If the price of the cruise drops, they can cancel and rebook, thereby effectively getting a low price guarantee. A guarantee they can also pass on to their clients, even when the cruise company in a direct booking does not always give you as a customer that option. There are agents who open groups and hold on to them. When the price of the cruise goes up, they advertise it at the new price or offer a slight discount from the published price, and that way they end up with a bigger profit. For example, a cruise at the time of its initial publication might cost, say, $800 per person when booked a year in advance. Half a year before, when people already feel comfortable because the date is relatively close, that same cruise will already cost double, $1,600 per person. The agent can advertise it for $1,500 or $1,400, but he still only pays $800 for it. The remaining $700 or $600 he pockets. By the way, his commission in this example, which he will receive from the cruise company, will be relatively low, since it's based on a payment of $800. At best, he will receive only about $50 to $60. So if he gets a good group whose price goes up, he can make much more from selling that same cruise by taking advantage of the difference between the price he offers and the price at which he buys. How much? Significantly more. And the customer will still be satisfied because they received a small discount. On the other hand, there are agents who will sell you the cruise at the price they secured with the cruise company. Meaning, even if the price on the website is now $1,500, the customer will still pay only $800. Of course, these cases are exceptional, since it is likely that he will sell the rooms much earlier. Because even when their price goes up to $1,200 or $1,000, his price of only $800 will still be quite attractive. And in the end, the number of rooms he locks in for the group is limited. Now that we understand how things work, you probably understand how an agent can offer a cruise at a price lower than the official price of that cruise on the company's website. So how do you find such an agent, and how can you tell if they're selling you a group rate or not? So first of all, check recommendations. For example, I have an agent who works exactly like this. And how can you check that your agent is also selling you a group rate without taking a cut along the way so you get the best deal? It's actually very simple. If your payment is made directly to the cruise company and not to the agency, then the agent isn't charging you an extra commission or selling you at a different price than what they paid. And here I want to make an important point. If your agent charges your card through their own system and not directly with the cruise company, it doesn't necessarily mean they're charging you more. But if the charge is made directly by the cruise company and not by the agency, then it definitely ensures that the price you pay is the price at which the room was purchased. And why is this important? Two main reasons. First of all, you obviously want to get the lowest price possible. That's clear. And secondly, if something happens before or during the cruise, as happened last summer with the Royal Caribbean overbooking, and you receive a refund from the cruise company, your refund is based on the price paid for the room. If your agent paid $800 and charged you $1,600, then you'll get a refund based on $800, not $1,600. The agent will have to refund you the difference. In any case, let's sum up. If you want to be sure you're getting the lowest price, you should prefer that the charge comes directly from the cruise company. That way you ensure that you're really getting the lowest possible price. Additionally, if you manage to find an agent with group rates who charges you directly through the cruise company and not themselves, then you can be sure you're getting the lowest price possible. And if we go back to the example of group rates, as prices go up, the difference increases. Because the group rate, as I mentioned, is locked in and doesn't change. And the charge is made directly with the cruise company. And in addition, because this is a booking through an agent, even though to make the reservation and lock in the room, you will be charged a deposit directly with the cruise company, you receive a benefit that you wouldn't get if you booked directly with the cruise company. The option to cancel without losing your deposit up until the final payment date. In addition, you get a lowest price guarantee. That is, in the unlikely event that the price drops before the final payment date, you call the agent, update them, and they will arrange with the cruise company to lower your price to the new lower rate. So you can only benefit from this. And what are the disadvantages of groups? So yes, there is also a drawback that is important to know. At least with Royal Caribbean, the groups are for double rooms only. So if you're traveling with children and want to sleep 4 in a room, you'll need to book at the website price and not at the group rates. Therefore, if you're a couple with 2 children, consider booking 2 rooms. Even if it's a bit more expensive, it's usually worth it. 2 bathrooms, 2 toilets, more comfortable beds for the kids, privacy for the parents, and living space that's more than double. Personally, I prefer to take 2 inside cabins instead of a room with a balcony when there are 4 of us. Sometimes it even ends up being cheaper than a room for 4 with a balcony. But of course, that's up to you. In any case, even if you're not a couple in a room, it's still recommended to book through an agent, because even though you pay the website price, you still get the other benefits I mentioned when booking through an agent. So again, you really have nothing to lose. And how can you make sure you don't end up with a dishonest agent or avoid being scammed? Yes, that's a real concern that several people have brought up to me over the past week. Maybe it's because they didn't know what you've learned in this video, and so they couldn't understand how it was possible that the agent was selling at a price that's more than $500 per room lower than the website, and so they worried it might be a scam. After all, there have been stories like that before. So first of all, try to work with an agent who comes recommended, and don't just respond to any random ad. Second, ask that the charge be made directly with the cruise company. This way, you can ensure that the booking was actually made, since you'll be able to see the charge immediately on your credit card statement and confirm that it's from the company and not the agency. And of course, after making the reservation, check that you receive a confirmation from the cruise company itself to your email. Additionally, log into your personal area on the official website of the cruise company and check that a future cruise appears there. Do all of this before your credit card is charged so you can make sure you're not being scammed. In addition, here are a few more important tips. Some of the people who contact me leave their phone numbers, whether it's here on YouTube or in Facebook groups. Do not leave your phone number in the comments. Anyone can see it, and then agents will call you. Some of them even claim they were referred by me. Also, if you leave a comment like, "I want to order, please contact me," all kinds of people might reach out to you. Some of them might not even be agents. My referral will always be by phone, not through a private message on Facebook. So be careful not to get scammed. So, what do you think? Did you get value from this video? If you learned something new, or if you now better understand how cruise group bookings work, I'd appreciate it if you'd like the video. Want to learn more tips for your next cruise? Don't want to miss the next group deals I'll be posting here on the channel? All you need to do is subscribe to the channel and click the bell. That way you won't miss any videos. And where do we go from here? Right now, you'll see on the screen links to videos with more explanations about group bookings and how to save on cruise reservations. So what are you waiting for? Go on to the next video.